Let's head straight over now to Graham Duckworth at Driver Hire and Gary Richards, who is at Driver Hire in Colchester. Hello to you both. Graham, over to you.
Hello, Ben. Thank you. Yeah, good evening, everybody. Quite simply, Driver Hire is a recruitment business. It's work from an office, and a franchisee typically has a team of staff. It's a management franchise, so they have staff to help them operate the business, typically anything between 2 and 6 or 7 people. We're best known for supplying temporary drivers, hence the name Driver Hire. It's a bit of a giveaway. And it's been headline news. Everybody's probably aware of the much publicised driver shortage over the last couple of years. So maybe Gary might touch on that when I have a chat with him. We've been around for a long time. Driver Hire's been trading for is it the 40th year next year, and we've been franchising for 35 of those years. So maybe before I hand over to Gary, in my opinion, what does a Driver Hire franchise, who does it suit? We're looking for franchisees that are going to be fully involved in the business, that are hands-on, visit customers, speak to candidates as well, can manage the team, and Gary touched on earlier, can sell as well, can go out and try and win business. And actually, I've been doing the franchise sales role for 10 years at Driver Hire, and Gary was the first franchisee that I recruited. So I think I struck lucky, Gary, when I found you, because you've been very successful. So perhaps for my first question then, what attracted you to franchising and to Driver Hire?
Graham, I was involved in transport for a very young age, and the name Driver Hire, well, I was using them in the job I was in, and I never knew it was a franchise system. And I left where I was, and I had my HGV license, so I went to work for the person who was supplying me drivers. So in theory, I was just working for him. And he was chatting to me while I was registering, saying, well, why are you here? And I said, well, I've got to use this as a stopgap to find a job that I really want to do. And we got chatting. He said, well, why not buy a Driver Hire franchise? And literally 3 months later, I was through the door at Colchester. It was that quick.
I know you're quite you're a quick decision maker, aren't you, Gary? You don't mess about when you want to do something. Actually, just whilst to talk about, and before I forget, I touched on the fact that there's been a much publicised driver shortage. It's been main news for a long time. How have you found that has affected your business?
Not as bad as everyone makes out. The media definitely hyped it up. We always have issues in the summer holidays.
We're blaming Ben here. Is that
he's one of the main culprits now, Ben. You
can tell me off later.
I was approached 3 times to come on national TV. When I gave my story, they said thanks, but no thanks.
So how has it impacted you? Has it been more difficult?
It was difficult to get people in because everyone's busy. And if they're busy, they don't look for jobs. But 65% of my work is HGV repeat work. And if you've got the work and you pay right, you've got the right type of work for that driver, you will get the business. But you've got to work hard at promoting that to them. And that's basically what we've done. And that's why we've seen phenomenal growth over the last few years. And we've always done that and haven't changed our philosophy in doing it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, as I say, you've been with Driver Hire for around 10 years. How has your role in the business changed over that time? Or has it changed?
It's changed. I'm not as much hands-on as I used to be. I still can jump in, I can still interview people, and I'm still involved with the day-to-day running, but I only touch on it. I don't jump on the computer every 5 minutes. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? I put a great team around me. You've talked about how many people you have in your team. I have 7.
Yeah,
which is really, really high for Driver Hire franchise.
It's more than average.
Yeah. I do it so I can have a great lifestyle as well. I can go and sell, which I love doing. I love doing sales. But I don't have to worry about how the operation of the business is going. Have we got the right number of drivers coming in? Are we interviewing them? All those things. And I can also come home early to to prepare for this, or have a 3-week holiday, or whatever the case may be. And that's what Driver Hire does for me.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. I can see we're both wearing white shirts. The difference is yours is Driver Hire branded. Tell us a bit about the brand then. How does that help you running your business?
I love the brand. The brand you can push everywhere. When you join, you're given a load of, I say free mugs, but you pay for it as part of your fee, but beside the point. And going out selling and seeing new clients, you take out your mugs, your pens. I buy different types of pens. I'm a dream when I come to being sold to, because I want every new item out there with the name on there. I also run the Driver Hire podcast with a colleague from the Croydon office, and that was again to promote myself slightly different when it was quieter. We are struggling to find time to actually record those podcasts at the moment. But we do try our best and get them out there. But the brand is everything, and it generates work for you. People will look and search for HGV drivers or drivers and hire, and the name does come together, and it does generate work for you quite easily. If you ask me, would I be successful without the brand? Most probably. Would I be as successful? No, definitely not. Even now, if I walked away now and restarted, I would not be as successful without the name behind me. Yeah,
that's good to hear. Fantastic. And now, unusually, for a franchisee that I've asked to help me out on it, you're planning to sell your business, which I know is part of the natural life cycle of running a franchise. Does that mean you don't like Driver Hire anymore? Why are you wanting to leave?
No, far from. I love the business, and I still do. I still do the things like the Driver Hire podcast and so on, and still heavily involved with the National Sales Day. And I push the brand. I grown the business 18% this year. If I wasn't interested, I wouldn't be doing it. I'm having a great time with it. But in the pandemic, in the short period of time I was closed down, which was only a short period of time, I'd done a 10-year plan because I hated being shut away, and I wanted a different growth. And I want to go more into transport directly. And that means with vehicles and everything else. And that comes with a big cost. And I need the financing from Driver Hire of selling the business to move on.
Yeah, you've got a lot of transport, haven't you?
Oh,
and interestingly, and it's probably worth mentioning to people that are on the call, you're actually in the minority in terms of people that come to Driver Hire and join as a franchisee. There are very few that have that transport experience, but we have a number like you that you've got it in the blood and really like being within transport.
Yeah, and the nice thing is we've talked about the network for all these other franchises as well. We have a lot of people will phone me directly because I'm the biggest supplier of HGV ones within the Driver Hire network, though we've only got a small patch. We're just very good at what we're doing in this particular area. Rubbish at selling van drivers, but very good at selling HGV drivers. But so they phone me for advice, and I should phone them how to sell vans, really, shouldn't I?
Yeah. And then final question then for you, and talking financials and the scale of your business. Are there any indications of, without going into too much detail, what the level of profit can be? Has it been financially rewarding for you? Has it worked out?
I came in thinking I'd make a certain amount of money, and that's gone way above my dreams. We just finished our financial year just short of a £2 million turnover. As the network, we average close to 30% GP. Mostly my net profit's not as high because I carry more staff, but I do it for lifestyle. Yeah. And I could cut down staff and have a lot more in my back pocket, but that doesn't give you everything, does it? I'd rather come home at a reasonable time, have time off, and reward my staff to support me.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great to hear. Well, seeing as I was going to say, Ben, I was going to invite you back rather than you having to jump in there. So yeah, that's hopefully that's been helpful for everybody listening.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
has, Graham. Thank you so much. It's really interesting to hear all these different stories. And Gary, take it and run. And yeah, lovely to hear your individual stories there. Thanks to you both. A quick reminder, you might have seen it in the chat. Please do send in your questions. If you've got any questions for any of the speakers tonight, please put them in the chat box and I'll make sure that they get asked to the relevant people.